everybody. Welcome back to the Golden Gals podcast. I'm your co-host Samantha,
And I'm your other co-host, Faith Burger.
and we do have a special guest star today, Bucky
Bucky.
Baby. My dog has decided that he is center of attention and will not get off my lap. So we will just work around him today.
Sorry.
Today
Sorry.
we're going to be talking about jobs. All things jobs. The jobs we've had, the jobs we've hated, and the jobs that we absolutely love.
I've got some stories for some of them. Yeah, I really do. I've worked a lot of fucking jobs. I mean, we've been working since we were kids, so
Yeah.
not like kids, but like 16,
16,
15,
yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Let's see. I would say like the first technical job that I had, I worked for Daddy Joe through his like construction company. I did
okay.
like when you call like the energy people or something to go out to like a piece of property and put those little flags in the ground so you know where like the
so you're
gas
a little
lines.
flagger.
No,
Yeah.
I just put in the little 'cause you have
the
to, like,
work order. Like,
yeah, the work
go
order
here.
for them to go out there. Yeah, and he would
Okay.
pay me like $50 for each one.
Nice.
I think like 25 or $50 for each one. I really can't remember. And then when I got my car, so my parents bought me my first 2009 Saturn Vue. My sophomore year, like
The black
3
car?
months, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe like a month after I had my 16th birthday. And of course I wanted, my own money, so I applied everywhere for jobs. I got hired in at Sonic in Hampshire, which if you don't know what Sonic is, like, are you living under a rock because everywhere has Sonic?
Yeah, for real.
But I worked there for like 2 weeks. And then
It only lasted 2 weeks, bitch. Oh my god.
honestly, no. It was probably like not even a full week before I gave them my 2-week notice.
No way. Oh my god.
Because Market Basket, I remember I had to go to the emergency room for something. I'm always in the emergency room. Knock on wood real quick. But I was in the emergency room for something, and Market Basket called me for an interview. And I was like, all right. So I went to the interview. They hired me, and I was like, I got to put my 2 weeks in. So I put my 2 weeks in at Sonic, and then I went to work at Market Basket, which for those of you who don't know, Market Basket's just kind of like a smaller version of like Walmart. It's literally, it's got like a floral section, a bakery, a deli, and like all your average groceries. They're like home necessities and stuff like
literally
that.
everything you need. And I think it's in a lot of like small towns, I would
Yeah.
say, but like not, you wouldn't find one like in a bigger city. That's for sure.
That's where you find your Aldi's and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I worked there for
how
a
much you
while, many months, because it was through summer
right?
of my sophomore year to, it was probably like April or May that I started working there, and then I guess they fired me or like I quit because I stopped going in around like March, because that's when COVID happened.
Oh yeah, okay.
So it was like almost a year ish. But a lot of high schoolers worked there. So like you had high schoolers from EC and then you had high schoolers from like HF. So it was kind of just like a hangout after school basically, because it was literally
working with friends is the best.
Yeah, teenagers that worked there. We just fucked around the whole time. But I mean it was good. I wouldn't like, I'm gonna say the only thing that sucked was the management. Mr. McElroy sucks. Like, he should not be manager. Like, everybody hates. Well, I know when we worked there, all the employees hated him, like, because he's a dick. And I remember I asked for like a 50-cent raise, and they basically laughed in my face, didn't really say anything about it. And like, let me just put into like perspective that anytime they had somebody call in, they called me, I would take the shift. Anytime they needed somebody to stay
reliable.
late, I would cover. Like, I was literally like their go-to person for like anything. And then I asked for not even a full fucking dollar, and you just want to like laugh in my face? I was like,
I know, like 50 cents. Like I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, they couldn't even do you the
That's
favor.
$5 from 10 hours. Are you kidding me? If I worked 10 hours, I would only get $5, you know, extra. So I was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, fuck you. But I mean, for like a high school kid, like it was good money. I really didn't
Yeah.
have.
I mean,
I only paid for my gas for my
and then
car.
like
So like,
food, and then like maybe like clothes, like if you
yeah.
really wanted something.
But that was it was a good job. I remember that I only called in once before I asked for the raise.
Hmm.
When I got like this chemical burn on my face, it was so bad. So I have super sensitive skin, and I went and got a facial, and it was like a pumpkin enzyme facial or like something like that, and it ended up like making my whole face red. Like I was literally like leaking secretion, like
Ugh.
serum, all over my face. Like my face was just constantly like
Yeah, that like
moistured.
yeah, and it's like that clear, like it's like when you pop a pimple and it's
Yeah.
not ready to be popped, and it's just
Yes.
clear liquid. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm. I
That's
know
literally when
exactly
my
what you're
face
talking
just
about.
kept oozing out.
Ah.
And it was just like, I mean, the whole thing was kind of red, but it was worse right like in this area.
Yeah, by
Like
your
the
mouth.
worst. Yeah.
Right.
And then
By
like
the
my
jaw.
cheeks kind of had like some really bad spots, but mostly it was like right here on my jaw.
Well, and when that like when that juice dries, it will dry
Yeah.
and like really pull, and it's very like cuz like when you pop a pimple like that, it's like very it won't move.
Yeah.
Like it's dry bitch and it's
Yeah.
not coming off. Yeah. So
And
that probably
so
made it worse. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And so I literally always had like that day I had fucking tissues with me. It was like patting my face dry. I was sitting in front of a fan trying to cool like down my skin, and I didn't think anything of it till the next day when it was mostly like everything was mostly gone except for my chin, and it was kind of like a burn. Like it looked like a burn, and I was like, what the fuck? Turns out I had a chemical burn on my face, and I was like, great. Uh,
Horrible.
yeah, and it was so bad. Like my skin was so tight, it was so swollen. I literally couldn't
Mm.
even speak. So I texted the like one of the girls and told her like, "Hey, show this to the manager. Like this is what I'm dealing with right now. I can't even talk. Like I cannot come in." She texted me back. She's like, "Yeah, she really didn't care and said that if you can't find anybody to cover your shift, like you'll have to do it." And I was like, "Yeah, not
Fuck.
happening." So I don't remember if I found anybody to cover my shift or not. But after that, I was still like being the good employee. Then when I asked for the raise and they kind of like laughed in my face, I was like, fuck them. So I
Period.
literally stopped. If like they needed anybody to like come in, I would immediately decline their phone call, like not answering that shit.
You
If I
crazy.
didn't want to go in, you fucking bet your ass I called in every fucking time I didn't want to come in. Like I was so over it. I was so pissed off. And then it got to a point where he stopped giving me hours, which I understand, whatever.
Yeah. They start
Um,
doing that whenever they're trying to get you out.
so I was like, so am I fired? Because if you're fired, you can collect unemployment.
Period.
But we never really got that if I got fired or if like technically I quit because I stopped going in. Um, but other than that, like that was the end of my jobs until like after my whole like college, not college, and then phlebotomy thing.
Yeah. Did you ever get a job like with the phlebotomy or no?
Yeah, eventually I did. So right before I went to college, it was probably like a month before I went. I got a job at the daycare that
Yeah.
I
Okay.
actually went to when I was little. It's Kitty Corner in Finette, and I worked there, and then I got my schedule and I worked I mean, I had to go to school every day but one day. And the
Hmm.
lady doesn't do part time, she only does full time.
Oh.
And I told her, I was like, I'm not going to be able to work like anymore. And so I quit. And then I went to college. I dropped out of college, went, went to,
Went to college.
phle-
Dropped out of college.
yeah,
I love it. I love it.
went to
No shame.
phlebotomy school, got my certification, and I didn't get a job for months. Like
Hmm.
almost. So we graduated I say graduated like June of the year, and then I didn't get a job till like November, June, July, August,
Well, and I
September,
remember you telling me like
like
they
5
were
months.
like they were like, "Oh, there's so many jobs. Like you can get so many jobs." And you did not find a single one.
And no girl, like no other girl in my class did either. Like,
Yeah.
because we had like a couple, we had like probably like 10 girls in the class. Nobody else could find a job. And I mean, we're literally applying everywhere. It's because like everybody wants experience. And in my like cover letters, when you like apply a job and you do cover letters, I'm like, I
Mhm.
understand that you want experience, but like you were that girl, like you were that person once that didn't have experience and needed a job, and like I'm that person now. And I would
Yeah.
really hope that you could overlook like my non-experience in like the job setting and my like eagerness to learn, to like at least interview me.
Well,
You know what
yeah,
I
and
mean?
when they're talking about experience, are they talking about like in the field or just like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Well, then how are you supposed to get experience
Fucking
if you can't
exactly.
get a job?
And that's
Like
literally
what?
like I was just
So
so
dumb.
pissed. I was just like, I'm so fucking done. So,
Yeah.
and in August so we got engaged in July of that year. Okay, so no, then I was already engaged when we like graduated school. So it was sometime in July that we actually graduated. Then August we had a trip to Florida that we were going to. So I knew that any job that I applied for or like interviewed for, I would have to like let them know because like we had
Yeah,
already spent all the
immediately.
money, we can't back out now. And then like I applied, and then like nothing. I did get an interview with Gatlin Research in Beaumont,
Oh,
bef-
okay.
like kind of like right after that, but they
Mhm.
ended up like not picking me. And so I went on vacation, whatever. Well, when I came back from vacation, I ended up, like, we flew in on the way home from Houston. We stopped in Baytown, and I got a car.
Period.
And so, Bradley was kind of stressing about like money because he's like, you just got a car, like you don't have a job, like, and I was like, yeah, I know I need to get a job. So I went and got a job at the daycare again. Well, the daycare was under new like management because they were in the midst of selling it, which Ashley Pittner has
Oh.
completely turned that daycare around. I'm so glad that like she's now like
Oh,
in
thank
control of
God.
it.
I thought you
Yeah.
were gonna say something bad. I'm like, oh
No,
no, no, no, no, not the
no,
daycare.
no, no. I literally cried when I left. Like,
Yeah, you were
sobbed.
sad. Yeah.
And I went to hug her and I just immediately started sobbing. And she was just like, it's okay. I was like, don't fucking talk to me. If anybody knows me, like, if I start crying, don't say anything about it. Just let me cry. Like, if you say something, it makes it so much worse. But
Yeah, with you.
anyway, so
Bitch.
I worked there for like probably like, let's see, we got back in August, September, October. I worked there for probably like at least 2 months, and I put my 2 weeks in the like third week of October, and my last day was November 1st with the daycare because in the midst of me working at the daycare, I had gotten a call from Gatlin Research
Oh,
that they
okay.
wanted to hire me. And like when I went in for the interview the first time, like I just loved the ladies that were interviewing me. Like Rosalind, well, Rose, and Katie for listeners. Like
Rose.
you guys are the best
Hey,
managers I've ever
girls.
had, and I miss y'all so much. But
Oh,
um, and they were like older. They're like in their 40s,
yeah.
and I loved them. I loved them so much.
It's like another
But
mom, like another set of mom.
yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Um, but I went in for like the second interview, and they basically told me that they wanted to hire me and the ladies that they originally hired, but their boss wouldn't let them hire two, and he wanted the one with more experience, which was the other lady. She had like 8 years of experience. Um, but have you ever heard of like the term personality hire? Where like you really get hired because like your personality's so good.
Oh, no, I haven't heard of that before.
I was the personality hire of Gatlin Research because when I went in for that second interview, like when after they called me back in October,
Uh-huh.
they were like, we just love your energy. We love your vibe. Like, we want you
Vibes.
to work for Gatlin because we feel like you would just, like, make the whole team, like, whole, and you would bring, like, life to it. I was like, oh, yeah.
Work.
And so I started working there November 1st. And I worked there until, oh my God, I don't want to say, like, I don't remember if I was working there during my birthday. It was probably like February or March when I decided to quit. Um,
Because
do you
that
think they
we were
can,
talking at that time, and that
yeah,
was
do you think
really
they can
toxic.
sue me for like talking, like throwing slander on them?
I have no idea, honestly. But like, if it's a toxic work environment, like you can talk about it.
I guess so.
I don't think that you can. I don't think that they can sue you.
I mean, they probably not even listening to this podcast. Okay, so fuck it. Anyway, so I started working there, right?
Uh.
And it was the best fucking job ever. Like, I mean, everybody was amazing. I loved the girls. I still talk to the girls to this day, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
People
I
make.
love them so much. And my first day on the job, so Gatlin Research was a research company. So they had all these um, research trials that, like, so a lot of them were for, like, Alzheimer's. They had a lot of Alzheimer's trial.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
they were, yeah, I just love the old people. Well, they were about to get into, um, what the fuck? Oh, fatty liver. So they
Oh,
were
okay.
getting my first day there. They were getting certified in like the ultrasound for it. So they needed like a volunteer. I was like, oh, I'll do it. You know, I didn't know what was going on.
Me.
I had
I'm
to
coming.
lay on a table, my shirt all the way up here, like tit almost hanging out because they have to get like right under your armpit area. Yeah.
What the
And
fuck?
yeah, but I was just
When
like,
it's
I don't
not
care. Like,
armpit area.
it was like all girls, you know.
Yeah.
But the like instructor guy was kind of weird. But I remember as I was laying there, Rose was kind of like rubbing my ankle, I guess to like make me feel comfortable. And I was like, I love her.
I love her.
She's very like affectionate. Like she's like me. She's
Yes.
super like lovey-dovey.
Me
And
too,
after that, I
bitch.
was like, I'm gonna get along with these ladies like so well. It was my first day, and she's like rubbing up on my ankle.
Yeah, it makes
Um,
sense.
yeah, and so and every time she asked me like, "Are you okay? Like, are you okay, honey?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
I
And you
love
know Cher, she looks exactly like Cher.
you.
Her
Share.
and
Oh,
Cher, like,
okay.
yeah, yeah, and she's tall like her too. But so like you know, things are going good, and to specify my job, I was receptionist and backup phlebotomist. So they had a lead
Oh, okay.
phlebotomist there already. And, you know, she was just teaching me stuff, like teaching me the things and everything in case she was ever out one day. And if they're busy, then that's when I would jump in and stuff like that.
Right.
Well, their lead phlebotomist fucking sucked, okay? She was a try hard, and she literally, I remember one day, I'm just gonna say her name's fucking Sarah. Sarah literally, we were in the room. She called me in there because she needed help finding a vein, like on this recovering drug addict. He's been sober for like 30 something years, right? She fucking tells this man, well, if you didn't do all those drugs, we would have an easier time finding the veins.
You can't say that shit to people. Oh.
And then the bitch let him stick himself. Dude, literally let him stick himself. And that's when I was like walking, I was just like,
Oh, bitch. I don't know what I would have done if I would
I
have walked in on
tattled
that
on
shit.
her.
Good. You should have. Because that's like not
It
good.
was just so bad. So that like that kind of gives you a scope to like how she was as a person.
Yeah.
But like she just like, and it was just so bad because nobody liked her. And you know me, like I'm gonna be nice. But like after that I was like, oh no. Absolutely not. That was just so like uncalled for. I was just livid. So I left. I didn't even help her do anything that day. I was just so pissed off. And then She started sucking.
Sucking up.
Yeah, she started fucking up. And like I can't remember exactly what her first strike was, but I know her second strike was that she used a okay, so in study trials, you have to do everything by the book. Like you have to
Yeah.
make sure everything is like cross the T's, dot the
Got the
fucking I's.
eyes. Yeah. That makes
Every
sense.
single thing. So well, okay, so all the lab kits were already like, I mean, it's literally just boxes and it says like visit one, blah blah blah, you know. So one of like the main visits is the randomization visit for one of the studies,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember that oh my God, what was it? Anyway, so this patient was getting randomized. Basically, that's when they're getting like figured out if they're gonna get the drug
Or they're not.
or the
Okay.
placebo. Yeah, and this is for like the Alzheimer's trial. So this is a big fucking deal. And
Uh,
it was
research.
she used an expired lab kit.
So-
And you're like one of the things you're supposed to do, you're supposed to check the dates every time you pick up a lab kit so that it doesn't happen. Well, this happened like kind of right when I started, but I didn't know this until they got a oh my God, I can't remember what they call it, but it's basically like an infraction almost, where they send
oh
you like,
yeah.
hey, you messed up. And
Yeah.
that was it. And of course, they go to her because she's head phlebotomist, bro. And she's just like, what? You know, like, what are we doing?
Playing stupid.
And so that was like her second strike. Her third strike, I really can't remember what it was. But they ended up calling her into his office, the manager, like the owner,
Right.
and they fired her.
What?
And she fucking, like, when she left, so she had like a rolly cart in the lab, so she threw on her kid in the rolly cart, and you could hear her rolling down the hall. Fucking little rolly cart rolling down the hall. She slammed his door, and as soon as she slammed his door, I ran into the coordinator's room, and I was like, I think they just fired Sarah. And then I ran back to my desk. She fucking slammed the front door. It was just so bad. I was just like, so
Walking out on
then
bad terms.
I was like, okay, I need to make my move. I need to like ask for
Yeah.
like a
Okay,
raise,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
because I was basically doing all her shit for her. Like I was
Yeah.
lead phlebotomist, she was just fucking there, and I called. Okay, so I need to backtrack a few steps. So when I got hired on, Katie and Rose were my managers.
Okay.
Katie was site director and Rose was site manager or something like that. I really can't remember their titles. But the thing with the thing with the owner Joel is he is a greedy son of a fucking bitch. He I mean, I feel like when he started, he really cared about like, you know, the stuff, but I feel like now it's all about the money. And I every it's like every day he changed the goalpost. Like he moved the goalpost. Like if we did something one day, the next day it was completely wrong and that's not how he wanted it and we would have to redo it like all over again.
Yeah, he would change his expectations.
Yeah, and it was just like, I mean, he would literally call Rose and Katie into his office and scream at them so loud that we could all hear it to scare us. It was a scare tactic.
Yeah.
But it really did was just piss everybody fucking off because Katie and Rose were the best people in the fucking world,
Yeah.
and you're literally belittling them and screaming at them in a like all your employees are women and fucking feminists. Like they're not gonna stand for that. So we all just kind of like
Well, and also for an owner or for somebody higher up, higher ranking in a business or whatever, for them to be screaming is really crazy. Because if you can't tone it down and have a civilized conversation, like even if the
Exactly.
person did something wrong, like whatever, you are not to raise your voice. I could not imagine the owner of my business yelling at me. Like, she is not that. She's a classy woman, though. Like, she ain't
Yeah.
gonna do that. Very
And
professional.
the crazy thing is, like, he was like the best boss you could ask for, and I swear when I
Until
hit
he
my
wasn't.
when I hit my 90 days, like that same fucking day, shit went upside down.
Bonkers, yeah.
Like, it was insane. And then I learned that so one of the girls was on maternity leave when I like started. When she came back, I learned that he made her come back early because there was nothing in writing that said exactly like her however many weeks. So he made her come back early.
For maternity leave?
And said there's no legal document of when we discussed you were supposed to come back, so you're coming back like 3-4 weeks early. Yeah. It was bad, dude. And I remember, so everybody was quitting. Like, everybody was getting fired, everybody was quitting. That place has 100%
very toxic
turnaround rate when I was there. It was 100 fucking percent. Nobody there there was 2 people out of the, like, let me count.
Out of the staff?
Rose, Katie, Sarah, Nethme, Keely.
While you do that, I'm gonna hit this.
Herman. Okay, so out of like the 8 employees, there was only 2 people there that worked over 2 years. I think Katie was there for like 3. Herman was there for 4. But so everybody was like fairly new, not even a year, and it was just like, I mean, that should have been my first red flag.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's hard because, like, it's, you know, you got the job when you needed it, and then, like, you had an opportunity. Like, you can't turn that down, but, like, when you're running through employees like that, it's kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and I can't remember if I made $14 an hour or $16 an hour.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
That's good money.
Yeah, I really can't remember. But anyway, so I can't remember like when it all started going downhill, but I do remember that when so I guess he got just fed up yelling at the Katie and Rose.
Yeah.
And he decided that he was going to, demote them from managers to just coordinators. And Rose, like, because Rose is a nurse, she's a registered LVN, and I think she's an LVN. And so she was still kind of like, not site manager. It's something to do with like, you go through and you make sure like all the documents are correct. So that's still what she did. Well, what?
I don't know what that would be called. Like, I don't know what that would, yeah, sorry.
No, you said something and I couldn't hear it. That's why I was like, say something again.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
I can hear you now. But that's why I was like, what? Anyway, so Katie got demoted to just a coordinator. And she got like a pay cut, quite a large pay cut. And that's kind of when she was like, I need to get out of here. And then, so once he turned over the management from them to, I'm just going to call her R, them to R, who, she's there on a work visa, I believe, because she's from Nigeria. So is the owner. He came from Nigeria many years ago. Mm-hmm. But they kind of have that in common. I feel like that's kind of why they worked so well together.
Yeah, that culture difference can be a big deal.
The culture difference is huge too. We had discussions about this.
The way that they treat women is different.
Yeah, because that's what we were talking about, why he would always scream at them. Yeah. But when that happened, they kind of did like a whole new management thing. Like, we had meetings every week. Then they started doing evaluations. So we had to do like a self-evaluation. They sent us like a thing. Yeah. Well, everybody else had their evaluation but me. And when 2-3 weeks gone by, I still hadn't had my evaluation. The evaluation meant that you got told what exactly position you were going to be and if you got a pay cut or a pay raise.
Yeah, and you were trying to get the phlebotomist job, the head phlebotomist. Yeah. And
this is also like right before they started doing the evaluations, kind of like right after. I sat R down and I was like, hey, like, I feel that I would be a great like lead phlebotomist here. Yeah. Like, I did Sarah's job when she didn't. I did it every day. Like, I know the ins and out. Like, I'm great with the patients. Like, the patients loved me. They would ask for me over Sarah. Like, that's how much they liked me. And I said, if Sarah couldn't get a stick, who did she call? She called me.
Me.
And I was
Yeah.
able to get it, unless we had to get Rose in there. I said, the only thing I can't do is IVs. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. And I said, I'm learning. Keely's literally teaching me how to do IVs, because Keely's also a nurse. And she was like, okay, well, I'll talk to Joel. A month later, still no talking to Joel. A month later, still no evaluation on my end. And I was just kind of fed up with it at the point, because that's when Holly, she was like my really main buddy there. She left. And
yeah, everybody
Katie,
was leaving too, and you're waiting around, like, waiting for an evaluation. Like, what the fuck?
and
Point?
I asked for a raise to $18.
Yeah, as you should.
So, which I was under the impression Sarah was making 20. And in reality, she lied to me, and she was only making like 16. So I really highballed myself there. But I'm worth it. So I was like, I'm going to stick with it. I'm not going to say shit. So I was like, $18. But Katie had already left. She got a really good job offer. She's gone. I fucking cried when that happened. Holly left. She literally, one day, she just left. At 5 o'clock, she sent a resignation letter and said she's not coming back, and just left. Then Rose, I don't know Rose left like a week before me. And then they had already fired Nethme for no fucking reason. He basically called her stupid, and fired her. And then, let's see, after that, like, it was just me and Rose and Keely left. And I was just like, oh my god. Holly left because when they were doing the evaluations, he was like, we don't want you doing this anymore. We want you doing recruiting, and you're going to be a recruiter, and you're going to make $14 instead of $16. But, like, he gave her a pay cut, and she can't afford that. Like, like, we're already not making good money. Like, you're going to fucking cut her pay because you want her in a different spot? So she left, and we were so proud of her for leaving. We were like, you fucking go, girl. And then, let's see, who was the next sleep? Rose. Rose was the next sleep. She got a job down the hall at the OB clinic.
Period.
Literally down the fucking
Work.
hall.
Good for
Well,
her.
then I learned that the OB clinic was hiring.
So that's where
Rose went.
Okay.
So I, sent my resume. I sent them a little thing. They called me to do an interview. I was like, well, I work down at Gatlin, so it would have to be during my lunch break, and I'd have to run in to make sure they don't see me, because he was already on edge because Rose went down there. So then I go in for an interview at, I think it was I went in for a Monday. I went in for the interview on Monday. And she was like, okay, well, I mean, I'm just going to tell you that I want to hire you, so when do you want your last day at Gatlin to be? And I was like,
now.
We can do
right now.
I said, we can do Wednesday, and I'll quit today, and then just have tomorrow to, like, situate myself. Oh, I know. You know what? I was making 14 at Gatlin, and at the OB, I started making 16. Because I remember it was like that. There was, like, a pay raise. And so once I got, like, the definite yes from them, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to quit. So I went back. I know that, no, it must have been, I got the interview Monday. Wednesday I worked Gatlin. Tuesday was my last day. No, because it was the same day. Anyway, I had my interview, and I quit Gatlin that same day. And I sent him a resignation letter that basically said, I am, like, leaving Gatlin. Today's my last day. I will not be returning after 1 o'clock p.m. because I went on lunch and I sent it. And then it basically said, like, I hope that in the very near future, Gatlin has some very, very, very needed management changes. And I am grateful for the opportunities I was presented but never offered. And, I mean, it was very snarky, passive-aggressive letter. Well, I sent it. I went to, like, I left. He calls me. And I didn't answer it because it was like he called and then immediately hung up. He texted me. He's like, hey, Sam, I heard you quit. Can we, like, discuss like what we need to do to like keep you basically.
Yeah.
And I was driving, so I like didn't answer him. Well, then not even 5 minutes later, he sends me another message and says, "Actually, never mind."
Like, what the fuck?
And so I was like, you know what? Now you pissed me off. I'm going to tell you exactly why I left your shitty fucking establishment. So I sent him a big ass message, like telling him about himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I sent it to you. Like telling him about himself, like telling him how crappy he is, like all this stuff. And he's that kind of person that wants to go back and forth. So if you give him that, he's gonna
You give him fuel for the fire, he's gonna burn it. Yeah.
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 And I sent him that message and he sent me something back and I was like, I'm not even fucking dealing with this. Like I
block
sent
his
you
number.
my piece. We're done. And I remember I sent what I said to all the girls because we had a group chat and they were just like, we are so proud of you. Like somebody
Period.
needed to fucking tell him and I was like, I will say I was so sad to leave because like I know it was so fucking shitty, but
just
like
because of the people,
the
like the
patients.
girls. Yeah.
And I will say that I am a strong believer in research studies, and that shit fucking worked. Like, we were seeing firsthand, like, it working, the plaque coming off of their brains. Like, it worked. And I was just so sad to, like, leave that.
Yeah.
And I wish that, like, I could have found a phlebotomy job at another research clinic, but he had a non-compete in his, like, employee contract when you first sign on that we can't work for another research clinic within so many miles, like for 2 years.
So I had one of those too. And really and truly, they can't really hold that up in court. Like they make you sign it, but because I was worried because I went to a different grooming salon, and like right after, and I mean I lied about where I was going. I was like, I'm not telling these people where I'm going, like whatever, because they could have taken me to court. But I was talking to one of the girls, and I was talking to my dad too, because he's very, he's a businessman. He owns his own business, like he knows what's going on. He's like, yeah, no, that would not hold up in court because like why why would you not be able to go to a different company and do the same job? That's so stupid. If you think about it, it's so dumb. Yeah. So
we all thought it was fucking stupid as fuck. Two of the people who left actually went and worked for one of the like other research clinics around us. But I don't think I could. I think if I remember correctly, I just couldn't find a phlebotomist job at the place that the other people went to.
Right.
Like they weren't hiring, and I don't want to be a research coordinator. Like I don't want to like do that. I just want to do like the blood of it. I don't want to do like the study coordination. But that was a very toxic job, and I myself am proud of myself for like telling him that where he could shove it. And
me too,
after that, I went and worked at the OB clinic, and I loved it. I think it was really good. The only thing is I feel like it was just another like money hungry boss to another money hungry boss.
Yeah.
And my manager had her head so far up the fucking doctor's ass that it was insane. Like those people that try so hard to paint themselves as not a bitch, but in reality they're the biggest bitch. That was my manager there. And she just like I feel like she just always tried to stir stuff. And it's just like
sounds like
she should have been a manager, and I feel like the only reason she was a manager is because she was there for 10 years. Like she's been there for 10 years.
And kissing booty.
And kissing fucking ass. Yeah. But I will say there was a girl there who I hated at the beginning. Like she was a fucking bitch. She ended up being one of my close friends when I ended up leaving. Like it was like she was actually but everybody else, they were really good. I really didn't like any of the doctors. I felt like they were very rude.
Most of them are.
But honestly, I really did like the main doctors that were there. I really did like them. But Rose was there, so I had her there for me. And after that, I know why I quit. I was like, I don't even remember why I quit. So I quit the OB after like a couple months because I got presented a job opportunity to make like $20 an hour for a wedding company,
Oh,
like a
yeah.
wedding coordination company in
For
my
this.
area. Well, the owner of that basically ghosted me. After, she sent me all this stuff. And I had already quit my job, and I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
So I started my wedding planning company because I was like, I feel like this is a sign that I just need to jump right in and do this, So I did. And that was July of
This year?
this year.
Yeah.
And then I got hired on for an at-home medical scribe job that I'm still
Just to
doing
keep
now.
like income coming while your
Yeah.
business is growing. Like, it just
Yeah.
takes time.
Yeah.
You know.
And so I'm doing that and the wedding business, and it's really fun. I like it. I think I like it because not every day's the same, because you have different patients for different reasons.
Yeah.
And I really like the traumas that come in that like are like super gory and like crazy incidents. All the doctors are really nice. It's just so hard because like I don't understand the medical terminology yet, and like these doctors talk fast, and like sometimes I can't keep up, and then I feel like awful because like what if I messed up the chart? And it's just like it's just a whole nother story. But that's where I'm at now. I'm just doing that in my wedding planning business. I mean, dream reality is that I could quit the medical scribe job and I could just do my wedding planning business.
Yeah.
But I don't see that happening like within the next few years.
Yeah, it's gonna
But
take time.
hopefully,
You're gonna
fingers
have to
crossed.
you're gonna have to get clients and things like that.
Yeah.
And that comes with time, and it comes with like people people trusting you, and then once you get like one person, one couple, then you're gonna get more and more and more, and then it'll be easier.
Yeah.
But yeah. I've worked so many jobs. The first job I think I had was Brittany Borden's mom. She had she has a clothing store in Crystal Beach, and I worked there. It was the most boring job in the world. I made like $8 an hour, but I was just sitting there, I was just like doing my thing. No, was that the first job? I can't remember. It was either that one. I was like basically working retail, but I would just sit there on the computer. Like I would just sit there and like do literally nothing. I would take pictures and then that was it. And then like some people would come in, like it was not busy. And then I worked there. So in my small town, there's a gas station and a motel, and that's it. That's all that's there, except for where people live, And so I got a job there. It was like one summer when I was young, and I drove mom's car because she wasn't, like at work and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I worked there as like a waitress. I was the waitress, the cashier, the bus boy, the dishwasher. Like I was all the things.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work. If it was busy in there, it was a lot of work because I was the one who had to do the dishes after like I'm cleaning up tables and I'm running out of dishes and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, that was horrible. Oh, and then there was this one time. Oh my God. There was this one time. There was this really nice couple, and I'm trying to get tips. Like I'm trying to get tips, bitch, They come over to me. It's like a husband and a wife or whatever, and she comes over to me and she's like, "Hi, sweetie. There's a fly in this sugar." And sure enough, in this sugar fucking container, there's a fly, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Like I don't know how the fuck that happened, but whatever. I got her new sugar. She still tipped me like $20. I was like, "Oh, thank God." Yeah, but the chef guy, I think he was trying to hit on me, and I did not like him at all. I will not mention his name because I don't even remember his name. And I was like, you can get the fuck away from me. So yeah, that was horrible. But each of these jobs, like keep in mind, like I was working during the summer, because I didn't have time during the school year to like do that. And then I think I started working at this water slide. I worked at a water slide in Crystal Beach. It's like 2 slides, and then there's like a little pool, and then it's just like it's called Fun Spot Water Slide, whatever. And I was a lifeguard. I got certified to be like a shallow water lifeguard. Took the class, all the stuff. But like that wasn't toxic, but it was very it was a husband and a wife who ran the whole thing, and I liked them. I liked the people, like we would work a lot and they trusted us. It was a lot of like what you said, a lot of friends. Like all of my friends were working there. It was a great time. Like and I was tanning girl. Like we didn't have a dress code, so like I could wear whatever I wanted as long as it wasn't like too skimpy because we're like with kids.
Yeah.
And I remember there was multiple occasions where I would go into the office and he would be there, and so with the wife, and he would be like, "Oh, is that a new bathing suit?" And I would say, "Yeah, my mom bought it for me." He's like, "Well, tell your mom thank you for us." And it was just like things like that, like little sly
Yeah.
comments.
Little comments, yeah.
Yes, about my body, like just, you know, trying to prey on me, I guess. I don't know. I just eventually stopped going into the office if he was there, or, you know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't go in there unless it was the wife, if the wife was in there or not. And then a lot of the girls, like, there were very young girls. Like, I was 18 at the time, so, like, not a big deal. But there were
Yeah.
younger girls, and they're like 16, 15, like, they're young, you know, and he would prey on them too. And it was just really weird.
Nasty.
But yeah, and then there was this one time, okay, so I was like, okay, so there's the top of the water slide, and we would have to like watch the kids go down. Like, we'd have to sit up there. We'd do shifts. So like 30 minutes up, 30 minutes down, whatever. And when you were down, you would put wristbands on. You would like tell people, "Oh, it's time for you to go," because we had like a colored clock, so you would know which wristbands were done, which ones weren't. And so there was one time I was up at the top of the water slide, you know, and I'm sitting there, and this kid like is starting to go down, and then I see him stand up, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, "What is he doing?" And he's walking towards me, blood gushing down his face, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Come here, come here, come here!" I'm like going to grab him, I'm like, "Come here!" So he like jumps in my arms. He's like this little itty bitty boy, and I'm like, "Tip your head up, tip your head up," and he's like, "I'm trying," and then I'm like running down like because it's like a hillside, so you can go up the hill and then you know, go down the side, whatever. And so I'm running down with this kid, and I'm like, I don't know what happened. Like, I thought maybe he hit his head. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
But it turned out his parents were like, "Oh, he has these nosebleeds all the time," and I'm like, "I'm so sorry." I was freaking out. They were like, "No, thank you so much for like, you know."
Yeah, you're just covered in this child's
Yeah,
blood.
literally, like, what the fuck? It was crazy. And we've had to save a few kids because they just didn't have their floaties on. The parents weren't paying attention, and they're just go underwater. We had to really pay attention. But I loved that job. I would sit there, like, you know, you would slide, and then there was a pool, and so I would sit in the pool, and like little kids, I would just sit with the little kids, and we'd just be talking. Like, we had some like daycares come and stuff like that. I just loved the kids. I loved the kids. And I just liked, you know, working with my friends too. It was fun. Fun in the sun is great. And then after that, when I went to college, the whole first year I didn't have a job, but then the second year I got a job as a maid for this company here in town. Because it was like hiring, they were hiring, and it was like $10 an hour, and I was like, okay, work. And I didn't have to have like any experience in it. Girl, when I tell you it was the worst job I've ever had, and it was not because of the people, it was not because of anything like that. The staff was amazing. They worked with my school schedule very well. It was because I felt like filth. Like cleaning.
Yeah.
When I tell you we had to go to frat houses, right? I remember this one time we went to this frat house. Not like a frat house, but like a house full of just guys. I was scrubbing that toilet, scrubbing the toilet, scrubbing for hours. Like, it just felt like it would not stop. And then, okay, these people, right? This guy, I walk into his bedroom, you know, and you can learn a lot from somebody's bedroom, right?
Yeah.
So I walk in there and I'm like, I'm supposed to clean this bedroom, whatever. There's girls' panties, bras, whatever. I'm like, okay. I see that he's got a little girlfriend. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like cleaning, whatever. And then I look under his bed. He has a plate of pizza underneath the bed. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, just ignoring that. I mean, I had to take it, like, whatever. We had to take all the dishes and all that. So then I go into the bathroom. It stinks like absolute dog shit in there. Like, I don't know. It just stunk like shit really bad. Like, not like whenever you take a poo and the bathroom just stinks. Like, I mean, it smelled like there was poop, like, smeared on the walls or something. I don't know.
Ew.
It was disgusting. Tell me why I look under this man's sink, you know, like the cabinet under there. He's got plates of food under there. Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, and then, oh my god. So that was one story, right? I used to clean this family's house. They were hoarders. They were disgusting. It was a nightmare every time I went in there. But they got better over, like, later on because we were fucking cleaning in there. I was cleaning the living room one time, and they have a little girl. They have a little daughter. CDs everywhere, whatever. It's just a fucking mess in the living room. I had my gloves on, and I picked up what I thought was like, I don't know what I thought it was. The little girl had shit. It was a turd on their fucking living room floor. Yeah. I was like,
oh hell no.
I was like, oh my fucking god, this job, I'm gonna fucking lose it. I'm gonna lose it. And then there was one time I'll never forget this guy's house. So we got called to this house. And so if it's a big house or whatever, we'll have to do like multiple maids. And like I've cleaned some nice houses too. Like I had some regular clients that we would go and see, and I cleaned this guy's really nice house. Like he kept it in very good shape. We would just polish it up. It's real easy. I went to this woman's house, cleaned her house. Very easy. She'd always leave me a tip, whatever. So this was one of like the new houses, like the once in a lifetime you're gonna get your house cleaned type of deal. And so I'm there with like 2 other girls, can't even remember their names, no idea. And so we don't really know what we're walking into, and it can be kind of scary. And so we walked in there, and you know me, I cannot keep anything off of my face. Like if I'm seeing something disgusting, I'm gonna be like not to that extent like for this job, but I was like, oh my god.
Oh god, yeah.
So we walk in there and we're like looking around because it's a big house. It's a guy that lives there and his wife, whatever. They were not the ones who called us. It was the friends. Some of his friends had called and said, you need to get your house fucking cleaned. It was that bad. I wish I still had the pictures. We walk into the living room. We're not allowed to clean spaces with like feces or pee or poop from animals at all. His living room, there was piss underneath the couch. There was shit all on the floor. Like piss and shit everywhere. Like trash everywhere. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And one of the girls is like, Faith, you need to like keep your face neutral. Like stop. Like, okay. And I was like, okay, got it. We go upstairs, we're looking around. We can only clean a certain amount of rooms. So I like clean the bathroom, scrub the shit. I loved cleaning bathrooms. It was my favorite part. Like I could just get it all clean. Tell me why that man goes in there, takes a shit, and doesn't flush the toilet. Yeah. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
I would have left.
Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, I know. I'm like, fuck. I can't even do my job without you fucking coming in here. Like, shitting when you know people are in your house and not flushing, you're disgusting. You're a disgusting human being. I can't stand you. And like the bathroom, I used degreaser on the shit because like I just could not. I was like, no, this is disgusting. This is a whole world of nasty. I don't know what I was walking into, but girl, I was like, I can't do this. This is too much. And then I ended up putting my 2 weeks in because I just needed a new job. I was feeling like filth. I had a UTI. I was still with my ex, and I just was not happy. And they tried so hard to get me to stay because we also got like, for each maid you got like reviews, and if you got like 10 stars, like you were great, whatever. And I only had 10-star reviews, like whatever. I mean, I wasn't like the best maid ever, but I was pretty good. Like I was good at my job, and I learned, and I did. And they were like, you have really great reviews, like we really want you to stay, we can give you a raise. They try to raise, like give me a dollar or two raise, and I was like, I'm sorry, I just can't stay at this job. Like I just can't. And it was cool because like, okay, we would have a whole bag of stuff. We would get like rags, we would get like a whole thing of cleaning supplies. Like, but we had like they had a building, and we would go into the building and replenish our stuff. Like if I was low on Lysol, go in there, get a new bottle, replace it. Like they were really cool. I mean, it was like a whole thing. And it was good, but I hated that fucking job. I felt like shit. It was gross. Then after that, I got my job at Lucky Dog, and I started as a dog bather. And one summer too, I had worked for a lady in Winnie bathing dogs, and I was supposed to learn how to groom, and she did not. She just ended up She just stopped talking to me, and I was like, okay, whatever. So I also had some experience with that. So I went, interviewed for the job with Lucky Dog. They gave it right to me, and I was like, okay. And basically what I was a cashier. I was like the front desk person. I took all the calls. I was the dog bather, like all the things. We had groomers, but I was not a groomer. And they offered, I was like, when I first interviewed, I was like, listen, if there's ever an opportunity for me to learn how to groom, I'm with it. You just have to let me know. Like I will apply and I will try to do it. Like I really want to groom dogs because I knew it was great money. And so, girl, that shit was horrible. It was like, but this place was like a self dog wash. So a lot of people would just like call and be like, oh, like, can I come in? And I'm like, yeah, come in. And then we'd give them like their baskets and stuff. And it was horrid. The management, like the owners of that place, it was like 2 men that did not know anything about dogs at all. Like they didn't care about anything. and we just had shit supplies. Like, it was just a shitty place. It needed renovation. It needed all these things. And so I worked as a dog bather. I was making like $200 every 2 weeks trying to live off of that, because dad paid my rent, but I paid utilities, and then I paid like groceries, gas, all that stuff. And so it was horrible. I was so skinny because I couldn't afford to like eat. I would eat like Eggo waffles. Like, that was what I would eat. So it was horrible. And yeah, then the time came for me to be a groomer, like to train to groom. And so I didn't get paid. You good?
Yeah, I muted it because Berkeley was fucking gnawing on the couch. I didn't want to
Hang on.
yell at him on the thing.
My bad. Okay. Quit that shit, boy. Yeah, so I started training, and we didn't get paid to train and all that stuff. And there was one time, this dog, I was like training under a woman that worked there. She'd been a groomer for like so long, and she taught herself how to do it, and like she taught us how to do it. And so there was one day, there was this little dog that she had, and I don't know why the dog got seizures when he was too close to a dryer. Like, she couldn't dry him at all because he would have a seizure. And so she had like a wall of kennels right near her dryers, and she had put him in one. And I already thought that was weird. I was like, why are you even putting him near the dryer in general? Like, what the fuck? So the dog starts having a seizure, like running around in the fucking kennel like this, like going bonkers. And she's like, oh my God, Faith, he's having a seizure. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. So she grabbed him with a towel. Like, if you get him into a darker space, it should help. But it wasn't stopping. So we had to rush him to the vet. He was like shaking in my arms, trying to move, trying to do stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do. This is like an old little like poodle thing. And I'm like, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
But we got him to the vet, and he was okay and all that. But I was just like, whatever.
That's so weird. I wonder if it was like the sound or like something.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but yeah, he definitely had seizures, and she knew it too. And I was like, okay, whatever. But that place was pretty toxic because like it wasn't like super toxic, but like the owners didn't care. Our manager was awful. Like, she didn't know what the fuck she was doing. And it was just like, I would do like 3 dogs. Well, it was also shitty because we had to bathe and dry our own dogs, and then also groom them, which is like double the work, you know. And then we would have to wait until the parents got there to pick their dog up. So even if you were done with your grooms, you would still have to sit there and wait for that. So, and the grooming training took like 3 months or something, and I was also like working full time, like as a bather too. Like, I would just stay and like learn.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was a gruesome journey. And then Marissa came and worked at Lucky Dog because she had left the country store. Some family stuff had happened because her mom owns the store, and so I saw her grooms, and I was like, oh shit, we are not grooming right. Like, she is a good fucking groomer. So I started trying to copy what she was doing, and then she started teaching me like how to hand scissor and stuff. Like, I knew the basics of like having to how to shave a dog's body, you know, like some semblance.
Dogs.
Yeah, like some semblance of like hand scissoring, but it's a whole different thing. Like, it's not the same, and it takes years of learning how to do that, and really a lot of hard work. And so she was teaching me how to do it. And then like we had progressed, and then she left because her mom was like, can you please come back to work? Like, I really need you back. And her mom, like the country store, like our place, like it's a feed store, and we also do like dog like boarding and grooming, but like really the store runs off of the grooming. It's been word of mouth for 20 years. Like the whole thing, like everybody knows it for its grooming. And so they were really struggling, and that's what runs the place. It's not the feed, it's not anything else. It's really the dog grooming and like the daycare maybe, but we bring in the most money. And so she left, and I was so sad that she was leaving. And I remember like I went to the country store and talked with my boss, like the owner of the store, and you know, kind of talked about it and stuff. But I wasn't ready. I was scared to do that because, again, like I signed a non-compete, you know, and I was scared. And Marissa, I'll never forget, it was like December or like November, and she was like, Faith, listen, I talked to my mom, and I think you should try it out here. Like, come and work a few days, like during the holiday break, like just come and work and see if you know, kind of
like a trial.
Yeah, and like my mom will pay you, and you could just kind of feel it out. And if you don't like it, then you can go back to Lucky Dog, whatever. And so I was like, okay. And as soon as I started, I knew. I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to quit my job. I have to quit my job. And it was great because we have dog bathers, we have a receptionist. Like we don't have to do any, like the only thing that we're really supposed to do is groom the dogs.
Yeah.
So I told Lucky Dog, I was like, hey, my last day is gonna be on this day. Like whatever, I'm going to find I have a better job opportunity for my field, which wasn't a lie, but it also like wasn't the truth. And I was like, whatever, I don't give a fuck, because they wouldn't let me leave. And she like my the woman who trained me also tried to charge me like $400, $500 for like something, and I was like, no, I'm not paying that. Like
When
you're
you left?
crazy. Yeah, like for supplies or something, and I was like, no, I paid for all of my supplies. Like you're stupid.
Yeah, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, and like with grooming, it's like you have to get taught how to do it, but you buy your own shit. Like I have
Yeah.
like everything that I own is what I use at the store, like what I use for my job.
Yeah.
And so I've been at America's Country Store for almost 2 years. I think it'll be 2 years in December. It'll be 2 years. And I really love it. I think the only part, like, really, we have a salon manager and like receptionists, like, because grooming, it's almost like its own thing. We make our own schedules. We, decide how many dogs we can take and whatever. And so it's like we have a manager, but like, she really just asks us what days we work, and then we tell her like, hey, I'm gonna need this day off, and then she marks us off or whatever. So it's kind of like whatever, and they just really deal with the customers. And then we have bathers who bathe our dogs, but a lot of the times I end up bathing my own dogs because I'm last on the list. It's like seniority, so I'm just last to get my shit done. So I end up touching a lot of my dogs, but that's okay. Like I make really good money. I make commission, so I get like a certain percentage of like every service that I do, and it's like the best job I could ever ask for college, and also like just a great work environment. Like we have some catty fights. Like there's like 3 other groomers with me, but they're all women, and so it can get a little but
the girl drama.
Yeah, but overall, like working at the country store has been really amazing, and they're just really good about like knowing that I'm in school and respecting me and my schedule, and just like, because at first Rebecca, sorry, my boss, the owner, she had told me she needed at least 3 days from me of work when I started at the country store, and then there was one semester that I took 16 hours and I could only work like a day and a half, like a week, and she was like, yeah, that's fine, like I understand, like you're good, you've put your time in, because there's been days where I'm scheduled off and they call me and they're like, hey, you have dogs scheduled, can you come in? And I'm like, yeah, I can get dressed. That happened to me probably 3 or 4 times, and I went in, and then there was an ice storm, like a few, like whenever that was, I don't know, we had like ice in. Well, they had asked me to come in, and I was like, sure, I'll come in, because I only lived like 5 minutes away at the time. And so I came in even on the ice day, even when I wasn't supposed to work. So yeah, and I just feel like I've proved my loyalty, and I've proved like that I am a good worker. I come in and I do what I'm supposed to do, and I never call out. Like I'm not allowed to, but like if it's an emergency, yes. Like one day my my car, I was driving to work, I took a left turn and it just went and then stopped.
God. Yeah, I think I remember you were telling me about that.
Yes, and then I would try to turn it on, and it just, like, my whole car was shaking, and it felt like my car was about to explode, and I was like, I called work, and I was like, hey, I'm literally, like, 2 seconds down the road, but my car, like, literally just, like, I don't know what's going on. I was like, let me call Rad.
It died.
Yeah, literally, like, something happened. It's done for. Like, I don't know. And so I called Rad, and he came and got me, and Marissa, my friend, had texted me and was like, hey, if you want to give up your dogs, you can. Like, I don't know if you still want to work, but we'll take them. We don't have any. And I'm like, yeah, take them all. I just like, if you can get somebody to cover your dogs, that's fine, but if it's an emergency like that, you should, they will respect you and be like, yeah, we'll just reschedule them. And then there was one day, like, one of our coworkers, she had a problem, like her son had to go to the hospital, and there was only 3 of us there, and so we were like, just go, we'll finish, we'll tag team your other dogs, like it's fine, just get out of here. So yeah, it's very camaraderie, very like we help each other get things done. So I really love it, and I'm gonna be really sad when I leave.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be so fucking sad. But I gotta find a big girl job too,
Yeah, especially if you're using that degree. You want to use it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's always a fallback plan, but yeah, those are my stories. That's my my work life. That's what has happened. So
And she is an assistant of Really Joe Vince if I ever need her. So
yeah, right. Yeah, I can help you make some decisions, just not all of them, and I'll try to be there. But
yeah. Well, that's like I have a wedding next September, and I had to like get assistants. Like I had to hire on more assistants. So I have Pebbles, Stacy, and Julie, and then Bradley. But I told her I was like Bradley is an additional charge because like he's my business partner. So like he doesn't have to have an additional charge, but everybody else is like $200 like flat fee for the day. So.
yeah, that's good.
I was like, that's good money, for them. They just have to go out there for, I mean, it's literally like 6 hours. So,
Yeah.
200 divided by 6.
Well,
Whatever
and
that
most
is.
most like weddings, is this like the day of wedding stuff?
Like
Yeah.
setting up the decor.
Yeah. If it's like most weddings are gonna be on a weekend, so
Yeah.
I'd probably be.
And I was like, well, because I was like, I mean, I know what I can do by myself, but like this lady's venue is like huge, and like she wants a lot of stuff. I was like, we're gonna have to get some more assistance, and I'll let you know how much that's gonna be. And I was like, fingers crossed, like hoping she was gonna be okay with it, and thank God she was. I was like, amazing. Thank
Yeah,
God.
because you can't do it by yourself. Yeah. And then the hard part is like I work Saturdays, literally every Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I hate it, but I also like whatever.
Well, that's also why I didn't text you because I was like, Faith's probably gonna be working. So.
Yeah, it'd have to be like really far in advance, and I mean, I'm sure that I could like take off and be like, I gotta do something, But I don't know. Yeah, just always. Well, and I don't have kids, so it is what it is. And my other, like, I work with older women. I work with women in their 30s. They're not like old. I'm just saying, like, they have families, they have bills to pay.
Older, yes.
Yeah.
They're like more in their years.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, I'm okay with taking the L on the Saturdays because I'm like, I don't want to make my friend work that has 3 daughters. Like, fuck that.
Yeah. So. Especially if like Radley has something to do or anything like that.
Yeah, so and it's worked for almost 2 years, so like whatever.
Yeah, fuck it.
Fuck it.
But yeah, I think that was it. I think that was all the jobs I've ever had and have.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I think that's about it. Like honestly.
Literally, I feel like my brain is fried.
I do too. I'm feeling like I'm about to drink some eggnog and chill.
Keep that shit nasty. Oh goodness. Well, that was the fourth episode. Yeah, the 4th episode of the Golden Gals podcast. Woo-hoo! Like always, I was your co-host, Samantha.
And I was your other co-host, Faith Berger. Tune in next week, please. At 4.
Friday at 4.
Yeah.
And we will see y'all next time.
Peace.
Bye.